Okay, this is our second installment of the fight breakdown with Nad Narimani. Welcome, Nad.
How we doing, Greg?
Right, all
Nice
right, buddy.
Mason.
Thanks for coming on, buddy.
No problem.
Also, we got Mason Jones and Rhys Jones here as well in the chat. Obviously, we got the live chat running. If you guys got any questions, can you just chuck them in the chat? I've got the log here. I'll go through the questions as we're going. Basically, the fight that we're going to be breaking down today, and that is his title fight against Paddy Pimblet in Liverpool. It was a 5-round fight. I think we all agree that you wasn't supposed to win this one, Nad. I don't think, buddy. I think you was put in there as an alternate. I think.
Yeah, probably. It's one of those, but a fight's a fight, isn't it? So it can always go either way.
Yeah, exactly, buddy. And it was a 5-round fight. It was an exciting fight, and obviously with someone like Paddy, who had a lot of hype behind him, going to Liverpool as well. But I think that showed how much balls you had to go in there, going to Liverpool. I watched
the fight was a landslide as well. Crazy.
What's that?
The fight was a landslide as well. It was crazy. You dominated from start to finish.
Yeah.
I think going to Liverpool as well, when all that hype was behind Paddy, I think.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, that only I actually enjoyed that. I enjoyed the experience, and I'm glad that I mean, at the end of the day, I always knew going into that fight that it doesn't matter what's going on outside the cage, or there's two people, you and them, and then obviously the referee as well. And so I always had that in my head anyway. So that none of that affected me, and it just spurred me on when I really, to perform well.
The other thing as well before that fight, you already fought for the title once for Cage Warriors, yeah, as well against Alex, yeah.
Yeah, that was another good fight.
That was another. Alex has got like an incredibly good ground game as well. That was a really good fight. I remember that fight because at the time I was training you quite a lot for that fight as well, and mainly predominantly, but we was training quite a bit together as well at the time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that was a great. That was a
coming up on a Monday, weren't you?
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, so I think like when you get a bit of experience in a title fight like that, you kind of know what to expect. So I'd probably give you a bit of a boost as well, heading in towards the Paddy fight.
Yeah, definitely, and definitely going 5 rounds. It's a lot of people go their whole career not even doing 5 rounds once. I've done it twice. So and that's in one way that's a bad thing because I should be putting guys away. Not going 5 rounds, but it's good experience.
Yeah, exactly. The one thing that we are going over and we're covering, obviously, in these fight breakdowns is your specific prep. So if you can like cast your mind back, what was your specific prep for Paddy for this fight? What was it that you seen that was, that a little chink in his armor that you could exploit?
To be honest with you, I always go into fights just with the broad picture of just covering all areas and making sure I'm as fit as possible, as strong as possible. My striking's on, as sharp as it can be. My grappling's strong, my wrestling's strong. I don't let any area be weak. So when I go into a fight, I'm not really thinking about developing this area or developing that area. I see their tendencies, what they tend to do, as a habit. And he actually had quite a lot of tendencies. But I kind of shut his tendencies down. He couldn't do his game because I knew what he was going to try and do, so I just sort of shut it down.
Yeah, Before I watched this fight back, one of the things that predominantly stood out for me was I remember that there was a lot of situations where he would shoot and sort of put an attack in, and you would sprawl that heavy without giving him a sort of way out. So you made sure that you crushed him and kept him low, and you kept him under pressure while doing it. So that I'm sure it was by the third round where you crushed him so much. He sort of didn't have an answer because I think running up into his fights before that, he always sort of had the option to take guys down, and there was no one that really he fought before you that could actually stop him taking him down. And I think that really made the difference because you literally crushed him when he tried to shoot, and you could see he had no answer.
Well, I mean, the thing is, people don't realize the level of the Iranians that I've trained with and wrestled with all my career, and then Pedro, having these people on like a 1-to-1 basis every single day is, I knew that he's not going to be on my level on that kind of, in that area. So, and that was his best area. So I think
the one thing that obviously that set you apart was you wrestling offensively, how you stopped him shooting in, because obviously he's good when he's in the clinch, like taking the back, because like he's got that system of wanting to take the back when he gets the fence, you know. But that shooting from distance, I think that was offensively, you just crushed him in those positions, 100%.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
The one thing that was interesting about this fight was the promo. How did you find the promo for this fight? Because I found that it was completely weighted towards Paddy, just promo towards Paddy, and you've done that little outside the Echo Arena. You've done a little interview kind of thing outside the Echo Arena, if you remember. The shade was on, and even then I knew
it was all Liverpool, wasn't it?
Yeah, and even then I was like, this is not geared up to be Paddy's night, because Nad's gonna come and crash.
and the funny, you know, I just took it all in my stride. I actually drove there one day, did that promo, and then drove back. And I just thought to myself, like, yeah, what? Like, you're building this boy up, and I'm gonna come out there and smash him. That's literally what I thought.
Who did you prepare with for this fight for Paddy specifically? Because this is all we're talking about. It's just a Paddy fight in particular. We know kind of you train with an array of people. Can you just name out some of the guys that helped you for this fight? You know,
the thing is, I know that we're doing a lot of strength and conditioning. I was training with Pedro, Bernie, and my mate Henry, who I've been friends with for years, who's like just trained on and off as his like hot as a hobby. And we were doing 2 strength and conditioning sessions, mainly like strength based stuff, and then we're doing 2 conditioning sessions in the morning. Then we're doing like 2 sparring sessions. I'll be working with like guys coming in a minute fresh, like Pedro coming in, Paul coming in, then Bernie coming in. And it was just a lot of pressure work. And I worked with Ronnie, and I worked with Mehdi and Paul Mower doing boxing, and then obviously Saeed and Josh for wrestling.
That's one of the things. That's sorry to interrupt you, but that's one of the things that obviously was massive in this fight was your boxing. So your boxing coach Mower, can you just tell us what Mower's done for your boxing and your striking? Because coming from, like you said, predominantly a grappling wrestling background, then to obviously improve your striking, especially for this fight.
Yeah, I mean, I work with Mo, and I work with Mehdi as well. I mean, Mo, I generally I'll go down to on like a Sunday night, and we'll work together. We'll do pad work. We've done a lot of pad work. He's helped me massively with my over the years with my boxing, cleaning up my boxing, and Mehdi as well. You know, they got 2 very contrasting styles, but I like working with both of them for my boxing. And then Thai boxing, I'd say Ronnie's been probably my main influence. Thai boxing, he's learned through Tony Myers and D James and people like that, you know, like high level Thai guys.
That's one guy I'd love to have on. That's one guy that's another guy I've trained with as well in the past, and someone who I'd love to get on is Ronnie Mann. What a guy, what a fighter as well.
Definitely, and someone, you know, like really unheard of for, you know, how good he is, really.
Yeah, awesome. Fought around the world as well. Fought in Japan, fought America, fought UK.
Oh yeah, I mean, he should have been in the UFC a long time before me.
Yeah, 100%. So, I think we start the fight. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's happening.
Let's do it.
Okay, so look how crazy that crowd is.
I think there was 9,000 Scousers and 100 of my fans.
I think we'll point out my absolute favourite part of this fight, which is at the end.
Yeah,
that guy is. Oh, I remember watching this in the house and thinking that's just the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
Again, come on,
you fucking cunt.
So when you're at this point, Nad, what were you thinking at this point? I asked Mason the same thing, but what's specifically running through your mind at this point?
Was this when he was coming out?
No, this is
when the referee's about to start it.
Yeah. Okay. I just fucking that's it then. I'm just switched on. I'm ready to just fight. You know what I mean? Once I get to that point, I go into like an autopilot.
What a corner as well. You've got there Ronnie Mann, Paul Reed, Pedro Bassa.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I've always trained with, like, you know, like my whole career, I've trained with people that are just, you know, at the top of their games, you know.
100%.
Talking about going into the Lions Den, mind. Brilliant.
I think
I thought it was when his music was coming out. I was dancing when his music came out because I actually quite like the vibe. Because it was a good vibe, you know what I mean? It was like, I remember it. And I was there, like, yeah.
don't
We
think
asked Mason, didn't we? We asked Mason about whether he like it bothered him not fighting in front of an audience for the title fight, and then like you've got the complete opposite there, where everyone's like shouting, just wants you to lose. Did that like not bother you? Just like completely focused on it. Then
Oh
you just
yeah,
don't
I don't pay no attention to any of it. I could hear like I was in positions and I could hear like the crowd going Paddy, Paddy, like, do you know what I mean? Like, and then he'd be in shit positions and they go all quiet and then.
One question I had for you, Nad, was so the weigh-ins and obviously the bit of media and stuff he did before. What was he like? Was he a bit of a dick, or was he okay with it all? Or
Nah, he
what
was.
was his
I
personal
tell you
attitude?
what, he was like not nice all the way around for this fight, up into it.
Up until after.
Yeah, then he started saying I was on.
Oh, yeah.
It's too strong for him.
I don't think you would got that UFC call up if you was riding Nad. I gotta be honest, mate.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? He's a fucking idiot.
Just
But
strong.
this is what people say. People don't realise. Do you know what I mean? And then they wrestle with you or go out and then they're like, "Fucking hell!" Like everyone
Well,
that
that's
trains
the
with me
thing.
tells me how strong I am.
I was going to say, because obviously we've wrestled for years. Obviously, I would pop up with Greg for No Geek classes when I was young, and I always remember, and I always said this. I was talking in an interview the other day, like you've always been like so strong, but not even like obviously I've competed against people who've done juice before, and you've always been athletically strong. So you could always tell it was just literally just like pure technique and pure just grind. Like
Yeah, that's it. I mean,
you.
to be honest with you, I'd say it's fucking 90% technique because I didn't ever used to be that strong. Do you know what I mean? Until I learned the technique right, So, I mean, I was strong when I started, but not. I don't know. I feel like it's the tightness and everything. That's what makes you strong. Like, what makes you feel strong. Yeah, this.
But even this, so like
He's already thinking about shooting. To start lighting him up.
Yeah, this
I was going to say.
for you. I
And now
think
you see this. You watch it in a minute. You see in a minute. I start banging his head about, and then he starts moaning.
Even before that, though, you were cutting the cage off well. You were keeping constant pressure. Obviously, he was throwing those leg kicks that they were trying to create space. But that constant pressure just ground him down, and then obviously resulted in the situation where he shot on a single.
That's it.
And obviously, his idea was that obviously he scooped your leg and he was going to try and maneuver you around and sort of try and come up on top. But like you're so weighted heavy, like this is what I like most in this fight, the way you control the leg. So obviously you grabbing your own leg now, yeah.
No, I'm grabbing his foot, grabbing his ankle. Now you see now, you watch this now in a minute. Now he can't go anywhere. He's pinned there. He's trapping himself almost. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Some nice shots as well. Obviously, you're putting shots in. It doesn't help you got that Barnett man because you hit him the side of the head.
Yeah,
his head.
See, this is where Mark Goddard has a word now with it.
And then look, but then he gets a fucking look now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What was my God saying?
That's 7 fucking seconds there.
What was he actually saying, Nad? Like we said,
he was telling Paddy, "I'll tell you when to stop. You don't stop."
Surely he didn't need to stop the fight to say that, though.
Position, Nad, from a technical point of view as well. When you're holding his foot there, Paddy's like one of those guys that likes to come around the back and get the hooks in and obviously finish from it. When you're holding the foot there, it stops him from stepping around, even when he's holding the leg.
It just sort of blocks.
Is that something that you kind of specifically worked on, or did you feel that in the fight?
Just one of those that I just felt in the fight. I did. I couldn't tell you what I was doing there, but I just knew that it would work.
Yeah. To be fair, give kudos to Paddy. He did good to survive that. Like, he's tunneling out well. He's trying to create space. Like, obviously, you are smothering the shit out of him.
Now he just goes on that. He goes on Kimura now.
I've been here with you, Nad, 100 times before, mate, and I can tell you it's not happening. I've been here because I use you, Nad, if you remember, specifically for a guy that would pressure me from top. I would be working with Harvey, remember? So like. We've been in positions like this, and I can tell you it's like trying to move a rock. And this is flyweight.
Yeah.
Crazy. So when you got him in this position, but and obviously he's got a Kimura, and I know you know that he's not going to be able to submit you.
To be honest with you, this is one of those positions though where I could have probably knee slided through and took his back here, couldn't I?
But the thing is, he's quite a crafty grappler as well. You got
That's
to.
the thing,
I like his grappling for MMA. I do. I like the way he fights.
Yeah, he is. He's quite wiry, isn't he? You know.
And like as a fighter, we look back at fights and you always think, oh, I wish I'd done this or I could have done this. But at the end of the day, you're keeping the pressure down. You're in control of the fight. Like obviously, there's things you could have been doing. There's things that anyone could ever do. But you're still winning the fight. Like you're winning the round. You're stopping him from doing what you want to do. And now you pinned the glove.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was a smart, The whole fight was just kind of a smart fight. That's what James Thompson said. He said it was like a GSP type performance. I quite like that, but
yeah,
he got told he was boring as well. So I don't know.
GSP was never boring. He was just smart.
Yeah, just smart. Yeah. Well, I mean that's what I mean. That was a smart round. You know what I mean? Just got one in the bank.
To be honest, the way that round ended as well, where he didn't have any success, was where he managed to work back the guard and work that sort of high triangle position. Like that probably works out better as well because like he's going to go back and his corner would probably be saying to him, "Look, you struggle with the takedown, but he worked back well. You know, if you can get him down, you can sub him." So again, all this going to be thinking through his mind is that if he gets you down, he manages to get a good takedown, he's going to win. And as a fighter, again, he's probably going to be thinking now where you defend that takedown, it was just because he's fresh. Like he'd be thinking, oh, he's going to tie it out. I'll be able to take him down.
Yeah.
Like all I got to do is set it up and like get him down, and I'll win. So
and to be
I think
honest,
obviously
that's what his tendencies was. He'd sort of rush in on people through like a 1-2 jump knee, drop down, like push him against the fence, double leg, and that's sort of his style. You know what I mean, or was anyway. He's changed up a bit now, isn't he?
Because one thing you did all the way through the fight and every round, you just started straight off on the front foot. You took control of the center of the cage.
Canvas, yeah.
Was that like, in the forefront of your mind to just take control, push him back?
Well,
because
that's exactly what I'm saying about his tendencies. I know he likes to push forward, but he fights shit on the back foot. So, and I that's how I fight anyway. If you watch a lot of my fights, I'm always pushing forward. I'm always So like I fight like that anyway, but it was definitely for him. I wanted to keep him on the back foot. I don't want to be him pressuring me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's mad as well. Go on. Sorry, G.
No, I think his striking as well is not obviously up to the standard of his grappling as well, and obviously your improvement in your striking, and you hit hard. You hit real hard as well. So I think keeping the pressure on him and letting him, obviously you can't shoot as well off the back foot. So. And he likes to against the cage because they obviously these next generation guys have got a system of taking the back as well off the cage. You know, if you watch them, It's a smart.
What
move.
I find mad, obviously, what I find mad is this fight is a really dominant fight for you. And watching you fight now, and watching your more recent performances and how good I see you in the gym and stuff, especially out in Team Alpha Male and stuff. Like you are so many levels better now than you were in this fight, and it's crazy.
I know.
This fight was so dominant.
This is fucking 3 years ago now.
Yeah, 2017.
If I fought this Nad now, I'd fuck him up.
Yeah, I reckon you stop him.
I think I'd stop him as well. Now actually my arms weren't so bad now here, but like my last UFC fight, my arms were bad, but I've had surgery now, and my range is like 2 inches longer than what it probably was in it. I don't know if this fight actually. It was probably just after this fight got pretty bad actually.
But like, obviously, looking at you from a negative side of things, so obviously, you throw a lot of single shots. You're coming through. You're peppering the leg. You're not falling off in it. Like what I watched you fight, not so much your last fight, but the fight before it was. You literally, the way you put your combos together is just so dangerous because there's always something coming, and like obviously knowing you from the gym as well. It's never just sort of what single punch. There's always stuff behind it, and it's something that I try to work on to make sure I'm always doing.
Yeah, exactly. Not just throwing a single shot. I think this here now was like almost like a bit more of a conservative kind of.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean by that? Like I wasn't. I wasn't giving away too much here. Like
you're not taking shots. You're always putting pressure on. You're cutting the cage. You're making sure that he's stayed at his range.
I took 0 damage that fight. Zero damage. 5 rounds. You know what I mean?
Look at this now. You've taken him down. You're waiting through. You're keeping all your weight on top of him. You know you're doing using hardly any effort. You're making him work. Lovely shot. Controlling the wrist. Nice.
Could have dropped down here for a double leg, but yeah.
Yeah, that wrist control there is brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the back. Yeah.
And like you said,
To
you
be
could
fair,
take him
he
down,
shipped
but
me off.
you're
He
hanging your
shipped me
weight
off.
on him.
He got a nice turn there. To be fair, actually, I had a bit too much weight on that right hand side.
Yeah. But it's nice because you're just hanging on him, so he's having to lift your weight all the way through. So like, obviously, no matter how tired you're going to be in this fight, he's always going to be worse because no matter what happens, he's either on the back foot or he's lifting your weight, constantly lifting your weight all the time.
Yeah.
The one thing I enjoy about this fight is watching it without the commentary on because, like I said, all biased towards Paddy. He threw a front kick or back kick. It was a brilliant kick by Paddy. You come back with a 3-punch combo and it was nothing, you know?
Yeah.
That just showed me. And it is, there's a point in the fight where you get him against the cage. Lovely overhand right there.
Yeah,
and
lovely overhand.
Yeah,
right,
that was, to be fair, he hit me with a double jab right hand just before that. That was the only 3 shots that I can remember in the fight that actually landed, like, and I was like, oh, yeah.
That scissor kick he's trying on you is terrible. I don't know why he keeps trying to throw it. That's like the third time he's thrown it.
He does that, and he was doing those knees as well. Same thing, jump left knee does as well.
This is the only part of the fight where Paddy's come forward. I think he felt
this
the kind
is it,
of
and he gets and guess what happens?
Yeah, you guys think
there
we
go. Thank you.
I just dragged him onto that. Do you know what I mean? I just dragged him on. He started coming forward. I dragged him onto a double.
One question I got for you, Nad, obviously feel free. You don't have to answer. Obviously, if you don't want to. How much weight did you cut this fight? Do you know how much weight you cut?
Do you know what? I can't even. I don't think it went crazy. You know, it went crazy. But what was fucking annoying? I cut the weight in Bristol, and then Pedro drove me to Liverpool. But I was literally. Was it Pedro drove me? Yeah, Pedro drove. And I was just fucked in the passenger seat, just like. And they had a hotel room for me on the Thursday night, but I didn't communicate, and I turned up on the fucking Friday just before the weigh-in. Like, fuck.
Fucking hell.
2.5 hours. No, it was like longer as well. Like there was some traffic, and I was just like, oh, dying in the car.
That's another guy who's worked with some high-level guys as well. Pedro Bessa, he's been in the corner for the majority of fights as well, and
definitely,
you know, as someone who we know his coaching credentials, obviously because we
work with him
a lot. But yeah, so was Pedro done for your game in particular? Obviously for your grappling game, being a more.
I mean, I've trained with Pedro, and what's nice with Pedro as well is I've trained with Pedro, like, and we'd like be partners. Do you know what I mean? Like in the morning training, so I'd be just sparring like purely with Pedro and doing like round on round with Pedro. It just sharp that level of jiu-jitsu sharpens your jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? That's like, again, it's where you're getting your information from, and that's like from some of the top sources in the world. You know, so
yeah,
it's definitely, you know, working with Pedro's improved my ground game no end, you know what I mean? And then blending that with my Iranian, like with the wrestlers, you know, Josh and Saeed, it's their different styles on it, you know what I mean? And that brings in the wrestling game then, and then going out to America and training with the Americans brought that side of style of grappling in as well. So it's like a combination of all of it. And then Ronnie's a black belt under Braulio, so
Ronnie, I remember Ronnie. I remember when I started training with Ronnie. Ronnie was 16 years old and a purple belt.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That kid. He used to train in the Ross Nakaro, didn't he? Like traditional jiu-jitsu, but then I think he changed over then to obviously training the more. His one goal, I think, was MMA more than anything, wasn't it?
Yeah. He tried to spin over there.
Yeah, nice.
Ronnie's just fucking good all round. Like when I first trained with Ron, I thought I was alright. I trained probably about a year and a half, and it's about 10 years ago. And then I sparred with him because he was wrestling. He come to Bristol to wrestle with with me and Saeed, and I sparred with him, and he literally just fucking beat the shit out of me.
Your range in these sorry, Nad, your range in these striking exchanges is perfect because you literally you got enough room to pull out for when he throws, and then you're always got enough room to come back in. And these left hands, the left hands timing is awesome. Like you're catching him every time and it's hitting his head up every single time.
Yeah,
this is where your wrestling offensively comes into play. You know, this cradle.
So this is the only mistake I made, I think, in the fight as well when he got my back.
Yeah,
This was the only. See,
and if I'm honest,
I got like a crotch lift, and there's the ankle again.
Yeah, when I watched this fight live, that was the only point where I thought, oh shit, he's on his back, because Paddy's so good when he gets onto people's back. You watch his last fight, he was on, but you were so cool. I remember watching it and thinking, oh, why are we worried? Because Nad's so cool in this position. Here's the point of the fight where I could see, like Graham and
thinking, oh shit.
Yeah, you can see him watching, thinking, fuck.
I know. Look, yeah. They're thinking, oh, we fucked up here.
Please don't erupt. Let the Echo Arena fucking fill out.
Yeah. What's funny is the one I fought before, the worst performance of my career I fought before against a Spanish kiddie, in Cage Warriors in Wales, and then this fight was after it, and they must have thought, like, you know what I mean, like.
Because before you come back to Cage Warriors, you did have a little stint fighting in Bama, didn't you?
Bama.
Yeah, you had
in
Bama, yeah.
That was a good thing. That was a good fight, actually. I had a good mindset for that fight. I just was I'd had a while out because Cage Warriors went under. That was straight after Enland.
Yeah.
I fought Enland, and I just went in with a mindset. I'm just going to go straight through him, and within 2 minutes, I did that.
Oh, mate, you're striking in that fight looked banging, to be honest with you.
Because
you flew straight into him.
Yeah, I felt good. That must have been where. I can't think of this fight now.
Now, talk us through what you're doing by here.
Did he take me back here? I was just.
Yeah,
He kept hooking that leg, and Pedro was telling me to clear that leg out. I can remember, but it wasn't that easy. And then here, I think
he did take you back. Yeah.
That's the only mistake you made there.
Yeah.
And the whole fight.
Here, even if I come up here, I'd have been all right. I could have come up and put that left knee over and gone to mount.
Yeah.
But he was pretty strong there, to be fair. Just hanging on. He had like a hanging on kind of strength, like he was hanging on for his life.
He's anchored his weight quite well as well. The way he split his base there, and obviously there he goes.
What I tried to do, I tried to release it and cut my arm back in to an underhook.
Yeah, and then you give him full 2 ups.
What? Again, like you said, I ain't worried here. I had Enland there as well. Enland had finished all of his submissions by rear naked choke. And when I've had Ped on my back for years. You know what I mean? Like, and don't get me wrong, it's no fucking fun, and he does tap me out, but not all the time. You know what I mean?
When you get used to someone like Pedro's level being hanging off your back, and guys like Ronnie Mann hanging off your back, and the guys you train with as well, when you're getting put in this position, you probably feel like this doesn't feel like the guys I normally train with,
Yeah, exactly. You just know what you know what to do. You just know what when you're in danger and when you're not, and.
Obviously, he's working there to hook your hand out, try and pin your hand down. So he take it to a 2 on 1 rather than a 2 on 2.
See, I could have actually got both arms under. I could have got both arms under there and done and just shrugged down. That's the thing. I would have been. I personally right now, see, I'm watching that, and I would have been out of that. I can see I made mistakes there, staying in that just even for that long.
Yeah, that's another good round for you as well. I think that's the only thing in the fight where Paddy had a little bit of hope, was when you got your back there in the third, and
that was it.
Everything else was just so dominant.
So that was the end of the third round, was it?
Yeah, end of the third, coming into the fourth now.
Yeah.
That was lovely.
We got the back, but
so obviously he kicked there, and you used your front hand to sort of sweep it away, and then come through with a big hand, back hand after.
Mm-hmm.
Nad, when you're in the corner, especially for this fight, did you make any adjustments, or was it just keep going, doing what you're doing because it's working? Did you feel him make any changes, or you need to make any changes?
No, I just kept doing what I do, and I felt like I was winning the fight. That was that was the only part of the fight where I was a bit
could have gone either way.
He could have had, maybe he could have had the third round. Do you know what I mean? Just
you kind of knew what you did straight away, didn't you? You could see on your face when you stood up. You're like, oh, I know what I did there.
Yeah, exactly.
The other thing as well, obviously, being in his home territory, you have to win a round. You can't have it be too close, because if they're going to give it either way, like you weren't meant to win this fight. So if any of these rounds are going to be close, they're going to give that round to him.
Exactly. If that fight was any closer, it could have gone to him.
Yeah.
And that ain't even an exaggeration. And I don't look at the fight like it was a land. I beat him fair and square, but I should have stopped him. I should have stopped him with this Kimura in a bit as well. I heard his
Yeah,
arm.
I remember the
his arm
Kimura.
tear, I feel like.
I think the fourth and fifth round, the grappling exchanges in the fourth and fifth round. There's a couple of questions I want to ask you about these as well, which you can talk me over, which is brilliant. But your striking, your head movement, your 1-2s.
He's getting lit up. I mean, he can take his shot, but
he slowed right down, didn't he?
I think even the commentary said as well they'd only exaggerated by his hair, and I'm thinking, no, it's not. He's getting lit up, yeah.
Because that's one thing I thought you could see in this round, especially Nad, was he almost, I wouldn't say like looked desperate, but you could see he looked a bit demoralised, and then you could see that light come out of him. And I think that was obviously down to your game plan and like how well you like sort of bossed the first 3 rounds. But did you like train think? I know you fought 5 rounds before this in a previous title fight, but did you train anything like extra conditioning, thinking right, I need to be up to or do you do that anyway?
This was actually, to be fair, this and England actually. I don't know what it is when you I train hard anyway, but when you get those 5 round ones coming in, you're like, I need to push the fucking cardio. So this is a nice thing here. This is a lovely transition here.
Yeah, it's good.
Sit out on the hip, and then I go over for this Kimura, and then I get that leg in. But yeah, I was hitting this. We were doing these real hard hill sprints that are just right at the corner of my house. It's in like a woods, and it's like it's almost like you've got to crawl up it. It's that steep, you know. But it takes about a minute and a half to get to the top, and then we were hitting pads at the top for 2 minutes, and I go back down, and then I come back up. And we're doing like 5-10 rounds of that.
Yeah, suicide.
It was fucking hard. Yeah, we were doing hard conditioning rounds, like circuit kind of things, mixing in with aerodynes and hill sprints and then mixing in wrestling amongst that. And then, like I said, pressure sparring, pressure grappling, a minute with like starting underneath and then have Pedro on top of you, then have Paul on top of you, then have Bernie on top of you, then have, and like, everyone else that was there. It was, it was intense camp to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think that's how
I was trying to get that foot in there. That foot.
There's a Kimura position by you as well,
and do you know what? I should have just fucking ripped it. Or is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets out now. I feel like I heard it rip there, or he grabbed my shorts, and it almost put me off because I heard this, and then I don't know. I should have just fucking tore his arm out.
You always have those things. Like obviously we talked about the Alexi fight last time we did it, and I was in the same sort of situation where I could have broke the guy's arm and sort of didn't so much panic as just sort of try and rush it and then sort of hesitate a little bit, and you miss it because it's so slippery in these fights. Like people don't understand how hard it is when you're both sort of in this and you're sweating.
It's a split second thing.
If you can pause it there, Tom. This is one of the positions that I want to talk to you about now. This switch out from the half here. So when Paddy come into the half guard, you purposely pummeled your left arm in to kind of get the grab you for this hip switch. Now I filmed you a lot, and you hit this hip switch on everyone, me included. So is this part of your game, or is this something that you've just like you specific?
Yeah, this is. I mean, this is actually Tellers, but This is now called the Pimblet at Pedro's. Because I hit him with it 3 times, so we call it the Pimblet.
Right.
But it was like every time he fucking got on top, I hit him with the same move, and it was like fucking hell. So all he had to do was cross-face me to keep me down. And
because he was happy, I think he was happy with getting to like the split half by you for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah. It's a great position. I love this position. I work a lot. I work knee bars from this, heel hook, and then the bump, obviously, or just like a roll through as well. Like I got a bit of a little series off of that.
Keep talking through it as it goes. Keep talking through it as it goes.
Yeah, go on then. So here, what's nice as well is they can't see how I cleared the crossface. They can't hit you either. So you're safe in MMA. It's like. They can't do any damage, so you can I'm just chilling out here, waiting for my position almost. See, I just need to clear that arm, and he's still keeping quite a lot of pressure down there. Do you know what I mean? So I can't, and then boom, there. So it's almost just like a Kimura bump almost. Yeah. But the way you got to get your hip, get your hip above their hip.
I think it's highly underestimated as well because, like you said, you're not getting hit. You transition to a top position. You've got to scramble.
And then look where I've ended up. You know, now I've got the Habib control on his wrist,
Yeah.
breaking him down.
I was just going to say about this wrist control because me and Greg have been working this a lot, and straight away you're stripping him down. You're making sure that he can't base out. That there's no posting for him to sort of find a base to come back up. Like you're keeping him stripped down, and we're working constantly. Like this is a nice place to be in. And you're using your left leg to drag it out, and your right foot, if I've seen right correctly, then you're using it to split his legs to keep him flat. Like that's not a nice position to be in.
See how I keep the shin over the. You'll see it in a minute there.
Yeah.
See that shin over that pins him in. Yeah.
And the other thing,
windscreen wiper, we call that, G, don't we? Windscreen wiper.
You're not rushing to get to a dominant position. I think where a lot of grapplers do in those positions, they rush to take the back or take a mount or take a position of like dominance, you know. But you didn't do anything there. You kind of just stayed there, and you knew that you could, you know, hit that resting position, wrist control, and get a couple of shots off.
Yeah, exactly. It was just another sort of shutdown round. You know, I mean, it's one of those because you know I did. It was like James Thompson said, he did saying that right. It's like a GSP kind of smart performance. But I did have, you know, there's a little finish here, almost couldn't there have been, you know, and then should have took that right behind his head.
So coming into this last round now, Nad, any idea like what are you thinking? What's your team saying to you? Like, is there anything sort of changed now?
I think they were just like, you know, just carry on. You won this fight, just win this round, and that's it. I went into that round gonna go and win this round as well. You know, I wasn't gonna let it go.
And the other thing as
like
well,
you said, we were in Liverpool.
Win every round, or you risk the fight.
Yeah. And having experience in the corner as well with you know guys who've been there, Paul Reed and Ronnie Mann as well. You know, and Pedro Bessa has fought MMA. I know a lot of people don't understand that Pedro Bessa has fought MMA as well.
Yeah.
Having these guys in your corner as well, giving you advice is brilliant.
You look way fresher in this round than he does as well. Like he's trying to his hands are low. Yeah. You're bouncing around. You look like you're ready starting the first, not going in for the fifth.
I think we were doing about 9 or 10.
There's our left hand again.
We were doing like 9 or 10 hard circuit rounds, like 5-minute rounds, like hard. So I was ready.
You can see your conditioning stood out completely because you look like you've done probably another couple more rounds. To be fair,
that's exactly what I felt like. To be honest with you, yeah. And the thing, because I was just economical, I was like, you know, I wasn't expending a lot of energy. I wasn't. So
yeah. That's why I got notes for your techniques. A lot of it was quite efficient.
Exactly. Yeah, efficient. Yeah.
All you have to do is watch his feet because every time he goes to throw, he's taking that half step in. Every time he goes to throw, and you literally bounce out, bounce in, and you just literally just slamming him with shots. Like he's stepping in. There we go. He steps in with the ball with a flat foot, and you just bounce in. There, obviously, you're giving him back.
That was a little fake shot, fake uppercut, fake shot uppercut. I like that one as well.
It's much better, obviously, watching a fight like this without the commentary. I urge a lot of guys to watch fights like these without commentary as well, because I watch a lot of fights without the commentary anyway, because that's just how I like to make my own mind up, regardless of how it goes. But this one in particular, I urge you to watch it with commentary and without. And that's nothing against the commentators. Obviously, you're in Liverpool. Paddy's a champ. This guy Nad Narimani's coming in, and he's lighting him up, and is completely against the script.
It's nice because you're not following him. You're cutting the centre off. You're keeping him pinned against the cage, and you're always within a certain distance so you can play it out. Obviously, looking back, you take a couple of leg kicks. They're not big, powerful leg kicks, so I don't know whether you had much bruising or anything afterwards. But like range for your hands is perfect. Like this is a perfect example. So now, as soon as he tries to step forwards, you've got room to come out, and you've got room to. There we go, straight away.
Yeah. A lot of that's to be fair. Like a lot of the range works is med work with. That's like his. You know, he's obsessed with that. You know, he calls it timing rather than range. But yeah, it's that's what's one of his big things. And what's that? Sorry?
You've already won the fight at this point. It's just literally staying safe.
Yeah. This was just securing it, you know. And now, look, there we go on that ankle again. I do use that ankle a lot from the back there, just that one there.
I think he shit out a little bit with there, man. Like he had the opportunity to try and fight back to his feet. Instead of that, he just took a knee because he didn't want to risk you dropping those big shots down into him. And obviously, he's trying to roll on a leg bar.
He was done, wasn't he? You know.
To be honest, I don't think I'd run you on my back for 4 rounds, mind that. I think I'd rather skip that. Just skip the different part. But yeah, like
yeah. Did he shake me off here? I can't remember.
I think so. Yeah, I think he shook you off. But you know, when you was in this position, Bear, you got no urgency really to do anything. You're not chasing a fight. You've won the fight. You could stay for 5 minutes if you needed to. You know, is his urgent? Is his kind of prerogative?
He's got,
you know?
exactly. I'm in the dominant. I'm in the dominant position, aren't I? Although he is starting to shake it, but he's defending. I'm attacking, isn't it? So.
And there's only just over a minute left. So at the end of the day, when you're winning that close out, all you do is you finish the fight. Obviously, my own experience. When I had the Desmond fight, I just managed to just keep him there because you're finishing a fight. You just got to keep them where they are.
Keep them where exactly. I could have gone for an armbar here. Pedro was actually shouting that.
Pedro's a shark.
But then guess what he gets hit with? He gets hit with the Pimblet again.
Wait
for it. Look, see,
what I like is you actually pummel your arm through, and then he doesn't even think what's going on again. He's looking around thinking, I want to try and crossface you, but he can't. And then it's just the simplest sweep in the whole world. It's brilliant.
It was funny because I got to that position and I looked at the clock and I seen there was 45 seconds and I thought, right, what we'll do, we'll just get him over and then we'll just crack him out of here.
I think I remember coming to Pedro's after this and asking you what you was doing specifically for that sweep because it's so simple. But you actually put yourself in a position. Yeah,
so simple. And I mean, there's loads of little things off of it, but it's so simple.
Like no matter, we always have something. You can pick holes in anything, but I don't really think you could have done anything. Obviously, you could have finished him, like you said. You had the opportunity to finish him, but like you destroyed him over 5 rounds. Like he's no bun. Like no matter how much shit people give Paddy, like he is a good level, like European level contender.
Absolutely, 100%. You know he's got to be because he went 5 rounds with me, so I know he's got.
100%.
No, I've always said to Mason in the past as well. Like Paddy's grappling for MMA, I really like it. They've got these systems in place where they take the back off the cage, and all the guys that they train out the next generation are high grapplers. I've refereed a lot of their guys on Polaris as well. You know, so they know mugs when it comes to the grappling game. But Nad Narimani just out grappled someone who's renowned for being a dominant grappler as well.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people didn't really know as well, like, or didn't think that I was a grappler or know that
this is the one thing. Sorry to interrupt. Now, this is one thing I don't understand. Like, why is he got his hands up, walking around like he just won that fight? Like he's literally just for 5 rounds.
He's just saying thanks to everyone from Liverpool for coming out to watch him. That's all.
That's what I think he was doing.
Get your beer bottles ready. Lob him in the cage.
We're gonna keep the fight going because I wanna show everyone. Is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Now, like at this point, you know you've won. Like you've won, don't you?
Yeah. Well, I do and I didn't. Do you know what I mean? Because I was
you should have won. That's the thing. Like you.
Yeah, because I got the scorecards written down. One judge scored it 48-47, and you think like, where did 2 rounds come from? All right.
Yeah.
49-46. You might think.
This is the thing I don't understand.
You can maybe think the rounds really won.
Yeah.
And
then, like, the one that had his head screwed on, he gave it 50-45.
Yeah,
but the
45 was 41, yeah.
He generally 100% thought he won that fight. This is what I don't understand. Like the way he was punched in the air before the announcement. Oh, you had a drink throwing, do that?
Here's the part I don't like.
That's it. It all starts going off now.
No, this is the part I don't like.
But at any chance you can make this full screen now, Tom? And any way you can make the screen full screen? Just so we can see him.
I think everyone needs to see this. It's like the best thing I've ever seen.
Hang on, let me see if we can do it because it is something you need to see. Nad almost after beating Paddy over 5 rounds, almost had a shoe in off some old man outside. He was ready for blood, wasn't he, Nad?
It's like the bottles you had thrown at you as well, Nad. Like as you was giving your interview as well, I remember the bottles being thrown at you as well. Yeah.
Yeah. It was all,
can you tell us about that as well, Nad? Obviously, because a lot of people won't understand what actually happened. So, obviously, can you tell us about that?
about all
The
fans
bottles
kicking
and
off. Yeah, well, they just, I mean, yeah, that's. You
Yeah,
might,
they are. The bottles are being thrown in now.
yeah, you could probably see it now, yeah. But you know, they were just, I don't fucking know. It was the Liverpool Everton one night on the same day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Football hooligans, but I just think I just paid no attention to it. But my missus' sister got hit on the head with a plastic bottle. They're only plastic bottles, but
Oh, no way.
that came up, yeah. So you know, it was sketchy a bit, and then we had to get escorted out the back, and you know,
obviously security. You can see in the background, security is trying to obviously
Yeah.
stop people from jumping over the stands because a couple of people weren't happy with obviously the way you just took apart Paddy, but
that's what I think it was. I don't think they were over the moon about it.
obviously fighting sports have come on such a sort of a way since then as well. So obviously I really don't think this would happen again, but this is disappointing to see because obviously it does make it look like a thug sport considering like the attitudes people are showing in the crowds and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's never nice to see because it just makes us all look poor.
Yeah.
Couple of idiots.
No, it's right. It's not good for cage riders that either, you know what I mean?
Well, this
Yeah.
is why I think like that Graham and I was watching on, just thinking like, you know, Paddy just win the fight just so everyone else in the crowd don't fight.
Yeah.
Well, James Thompson was there with Big Luke, and apparently he had to fucking give it like the Kong, you know, like what you used to do at the start of fights. Because like these four like scousers started like fucking giving us some shit. These little like, and he started, "You fucking want some?" And he said he was on the balcony.
Right, here's
Gonna
the part,
fucking.
here's my favourite part in the world. Nad strut
Here
around
we
the
go. We won't miss it, Greg. Now.
Oh, here it
Here
is.
he is.
Here
Here's
he
the
is.
mate.
Where's
He wanted to have you there, Nad. I reckon he would have done it.
What's that?
He looked like he had some mean hands.
And here's the corner team as well. There, Nad. Oh, are we going back? Are we going back? Yeah, there he is. Oh, what a guy! Go on,
what a guy! Brilliant.
That's
all
awesome.
good. Do you know what though? It's all fucking great memories. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think you got bruise there, Vil. Have you got bruise or a mark on your face
I
at
tell
all?
you what, that's what I said to you. I didn't take any damage. I took double jab right hand, and that was about it all night long.
A couple of flicky kicks, and that was your lot.
Yeah, but none of that even landed anyway. You know.
No.
I mean,
Did you have any bruising on the top of your leg at all?
Not at all.
It's weird because
in terms of damage, that was like one of the cleanest fights I've had.
Yeah.
In terms of damage, I mean, March in Warzek, that was a tough fight, and I took a lot of damage. Enland, I took quite a bit of damage, although I actually feel like, I mean, it was a really close fight, and Enland had like really dominant spells on the ground and that, but I feel like if you watch that fight back, a lot of the stand-up, I was pushing him backwards, and I actually feel like I kind of won that fight, although, you know, I'm not going to... I like Enland as well. He's a cool guy. He's always been cool. And
yeah, he's a nice guy. He's a great fighter as well. His jiu-jitsu in for MMA as well. Like, obviously, me being a jiu-jitsu fan is really, really slick.
Definitely.
Like
and he's a great coach. He's coaching now, and he's got a good mind. You know, you can tell he's a thinking guy, and
he's quite
he's good. I like Alex.
Right, so now the fight is over, and you reflect on obviously that fight. Now, obviously, it was a dominant performance for yourself. You've obviously moved on to the UFC after that fight. You didn't fight again until you went to the UFC after that fight.
Yeah.
And obviously, you started training out a lot more in Team Alpha Male. What's it been like to train out in Team Alpha Male? Mason goes out to train in Team Alpha Male as well, so you guys can have a little bit of a chat about obviously what it's like training out there and the caliber of fighters you get to train with as well.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love training out in America. I just love the programming and
the lifestyle.
What's that?
The lifestyle. That's the thing that does it for me, is because obviously like around here it's really hard to get not so much high level training partners, but the people who are sort of on the same mindset as you, people who want it as much as you. And like out there it's like it's so like the feeling of camaraderie out there where everyone you come to the gym, like there's no one there who just wants to turn up for a social call. Everyone's there, they want to push, and everyone's on the same sort of track to improve and sort of be the best fighters they can be. So that every time you turn up to a session, it's just so intense and like everyone's pushing as hard as they can.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's yeah, I think it's just that there's more people doing it, as a full-time sort of professional. So they're taking it seriously, they're keeping their bodies in great shape. They're they're strong, athletic. They've wrestled, a lot of them have wrestled from a young age. And you're turning up at 9:30 and there's 30 guys, that are all, at a good level, high level, that are going to push you. So you got to turn up and you got to be ready and you got to be operating, at a high level. Otherwise, you're going to have a rough morning,
One of the things I like about it so much is that you can go straight from a session. You go a certain amount of hours. You need to rehydrate and get some food new before you come back. And like you go outside and you don't go outside like raining, snow or clouds or like city build up city with cars everywhere. Like considering Sacramento is the capital of California, it's like it's not that industrial as a city. Like it's such a. I always said it's like a hippie city. Just because like
it's got a villagey feel. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it's nice. Like the weather's always nice. Like I've got obviously the same as you. We've gone out in sort of their colder seasons. It's always like between obviously 12 and about 18 degrees. So it's always even if it's sort of jumper weather, it's never freezing cold. Whereas like there's nothing worse than finishing a session and you go outside and you're instantly freezing and it's dark and it's depressing, and that's obviously the way it is a lot of time through our winters.
We've obviously been out there as well, and we went out with Mason and we. Like as
of course you did you? Yeah.
We really enjoyed like the lifestyle around like the gym. You know what I mean? Like everything about it. You come, you train, you go away, you get something to eat, you go and rest, you come back to the gym again, you do your strength and conditioning, you do your classes.
Yeah.
Nah, that's what I wanted to ask you. Did you when you're out there, do you prefer like the structure? Because you don't need to look at the timetable. You go there 9 o'clock. Or 9:30 on a Monday morning. You got MMA, then Tuesday's wrestling, Wednesday's sparring, always.
Yeah.
Because I know he's got to drive. He's got to train with Greg, and then he's got to go over to boxing in a different place. He'll come to train with me at my gym, then he goes to Craig in Cardiff.
Yeah.
Do you find it a bit more like a bit easier to get focused on an upcoming fight when you're out there because you've got the nice structure?
It's just a lot more convenient because it's all under one roof. I do like, there's parts of that piecing it together that I like though here as well.
Everything's personal back here, and everything feel, whereas out there obviously because there's so many high level guys, like they try and do it as much as they can feel, but they're for the greater whole.
There's a general program, obviously. Then you've got to go and get your extra work out there, go and work with the pad man. You work with Mike and Joey, and or working with Uriah, or working with whoever, Danny. You go and get your extra work outside, or Alec Munoz. But it's just, I mean, personally, if I had to have one, I would go out. I'd go out to America for MMA anyway, definitely. Jiu-jitsu wise, I think jiu-jitsu, under Pedro here. But that's the thing, in terms of MMA, there's not in Bristol. I mean, I suppose it's the same for you in Wales. You've got little pockets of, one or two, and then you got one or two there and one or two there. So it's kind of like you're dotted, but whereas there, it's just all concentrated in one gym.
One thing I would add on to that and just say is, obviously, style-wise, thing is sort of built is to supplement their wrestling, whereas everything is built to sort of supplement jiu-jitsu. Obviously, you get the odds people who are good strikers, but everyone really in UK is a good high level jiu-jitsu guy, and they're all leg lockers, and like the style here is sort of they're either good sort of off bottom or they're good obviously attacking legs, whereas out there everyone is really good sort of attacking a top half position. So it's just different styles as well. Like I find jiu-jitsu back home a bit tougher than I do out there. Obviously, you train with people like Uriah and Mike and these guys and Chris who got really high level jiu-jitsu, and it's different again. Like, but style wise, I think obviously the UK you can go into most gyms and find high level sort of jiu-jitsu fighters.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot more of a scramble based grappling style, I'd say.
Yeah.
But I think that suits MMA.
I'm just trying to get some of the questions up now. I've lost a lot of the questions. For some reason, my phone went off. I did remember one of the questions, which was from Red, which is one of the girls that train in our gym, and she asked, "How did you find that your power affected the fight when you fought Paddy?" Which was your striking, I should imagine.
Yeah. Obviously not enough because I didn't take him out. There was obviously there was more power fucking needed. Nah, it was one of those where no, I felt like I was hitting him with hard shots, but I think a lot of them he was moving away as well. So you know what, a lot of the shots, you know, that car crash effect when they're coming in, and that's what it kind of, you know, a lot of times knockouts need, but that wasn't happening because he wasn't really engaging like that. So but yeah, no, I mean, I felt like I had the power advantage over him.
Yeah, definitely. The other thing as well that one of the questions Kieran Fricker asked, which trains at our academy as well, he asked, "How has your life changed, obviously, since you've gone to the UFC?"
Not massively, because I always trained full time anyway. Apart from, you know, just been going out to America. Well, not now at the moment anyway, but have been going out to America a bit more. But no, not really changed. Still living in the same house. But no, yeah, and just getting on with life like normal. But yeah, obviously it's nice just to have achieved a part of my goal that I wanted to achieve, you know, getting to the UFC. But that's only part of it for me, you know. I still want to carry on and make a name for myself in the UFC, you know. So that's my next objective.
Perfect. We got Andrew Bridges as well, which is watching us as well. Yeah. Andrew Bridges fought Michael Bisping back a couple of years ago, so he's watching. So thank you for watching as well. He said very intelligent breakdown, guys.
Nice.
I got some
before
of the
that goes any further. Sorry, before it goes any further, I'd like to obviously say cheers to dropping in, Bridge, and obviously big shout out. I've known you for years as well, and you've always been supportive of me. So whenever I get the opportunity, I do like to say thank you.
Yeah, he's
I thought that was like a deja vu then of something else that happened then. Like we were doing something. Have we done something a few years ago, Greg? And someone.
What's that? What's going on?
Hello.
I got you. No, I'm just going through the questions. Chappie's put the questions on my screen for me here, which is brilliant. Keep going down, Chap, if you can, buddy. Yeah, this is off Chappie, who was doing our live stream. So massive shout out to Chappie as well, who's
I got you.
If you could fight any fighter in your division, who would you fight?
What, right now?
Get it out there. I know I've got a question for you as well after this one, which is interesting. So would you
fight anyone, just stylistically, or like, obviously I'd like to fight for the belt, but you know.
What I think is the one who's going to give you the most money, isn't it?
That's exactly it. I couldn't give a fuck who I fight. As long as I'm getting paid a nice chunk of money, yeah, then I don't care. But no, any I want to fight like I want to fight like some top guys. That's what I want to fight, you know. But before anything's, you know, before everything's done, I want to fight all the top guys, you know, and that's what I get to the top myself.
One of the things I was going to ask you as well is the GOAT, Artem Lobov, turned you down for a fight, true or false?
Apparently so. I agreed to fight. That was actually, I think that was supposed to be my first fight in the UFC.
I think it was.
For that fight.
Huh?
I remember I was training with you for that fight, and I remember you saying in the gym that they'd offered you Lobov, and I was speaking to Greg about that.
They offered me, mate. I think it was like just under 4 weeks. Like I think it was like 4 weeks out, or just under 4 weeks. And but yeah, he turned it down. Said he hadn't been training and that.
You were supposed to fight Nasrat when you won your first UFC fight, because I remember
that
was a massive letdown, because, like, you know, for so long you was trying to hit the UFC, and then all of a sudden then obviously to get the call up and then not being able to compete, and it was called off like on weigh-ins, when it was weigh-ins, if I remember.
No, fucking hell, no, it was we were there. I was warming up. I was warming up, and then Sean Shelby came in and said it's off. It was like half hour before we were supposed to go out.
Oh, fucking hell. I didn't think
it was crazy. So
He's got
they called me for that. They called me for that fight on Monday, and they said, "Can you come out to London tomorrow, Tuesday?" So I went Tuesday, and then weighed in obviously Friday. I had to go back and forth to hospital about 4 times to do like different checks, and then weighed in, made weight, and then warming up, and then I see Sean came in and just said, and then Mark Goddard was there and said, "Oh, he was telling me the rules." And then he said to Sean, "Oh, just wait a minute, I'm just giving him the rules." And then Sean said to Mark, "So right, don't worry, but you need to wait." He said, "The fight's off."
Oh, fucking hell.
How does the UFC approach other in those situations, Nad? From a payment point of view, if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah. No, yeah, they still gave me my my show money.
Right.
So
Okay.
yeah, so it was at the end of the day,
Half
it
of
was
what you
pretty
would have
good.
got.
I was. Oh, hold on, hold on. I was There we go. I was devastated at the time. I was, I was ramped. And when I get to that point where I've had my hands wrapped and I'm warming up, I'm like,
"You ready to go?"
That's it. I'm ready to go. Yeah, I'm ready to go. Where have I gone?
Yeah, we got you, Nad. Don't worry.
Yeah.
There's a good question here off Cheney Hughes. Do you want to read
Yeah,
one, OG?
Yeah, you carry on, mate.
Nad's thoughts on the upcoming UFC events in Florida, and that a lot of fighters are going into these events without being able to get a full camp due to the gyms being closed, and also not having training partners available. So what's your thoughts on, obviously, people not being able to train, but obviously given the opportunity to fight?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because, people aren't going to be getting in proper training. They might be doing a little bit, of pads and, I mean, I don't know. It depends what kind of situation you're in, doesn't it? What kind of training you can get. I know that the training I've been doing right now, I wouldn't be happy to go into a fight. But then, if a fight gets offered to you, are you going to then turn it down? So it's one of those things. I haven't had to cross that bridge yet. So
Yeah,
I
sort of
haven't
deal with it as it comes.
But yeah, exactly.
I think I'm up to date there now, Chappie, on my phone. But Dan Williams, did Graham Boylan say anything to you after the fight? He didn't look happy putting the belt around you, put the belt on you. So did he show that off camera too?
Well, yeah. I mean, I didn't really go down that well after with Graham. Anyway, I don't. Yeah, they wanted me to go back to Liverpool. I wanted more money. We couldn't come to an agreement, so we just sort of fell out. They were offering shit money for the fight. They paid me shit money for that fight, but that was in my contract, so I couldn't moan. But then I just thought, once I got the belt, I just thought, you know what, fuck you. So, but I've shook Graham's hand now, and that's behind me anyway. But it is what it is. I wasn't supposed to win that fight. I didn't get anything in terms of their promotion. I gained a lot from the fight, obviously, because I won the belt. And I respect that. And I like Ian Dean as well. Get on with Ian. And I get on well with Ian. But me and Graham didn't see how to fight that really.
Yeah, well, like you said, you're the champion, so why are you going to go back to Liverpool? It would have been brilliant to do this down in Bristol or something.
Yeah, this was something I was saying. They wanted to the way it was, it just didn't. And I was obviously being difficult as well, just sort of. And then and he obviously was wanting the money.
Yeah. That's fair enough.
But it's one of those, because I don't know. Like, then I had a year out, so now I'm looking back at it like, Nad, you took a year. I didn't stop training, but I didn't fight for a year, and there's been too many times of that. I've had surgery now. I haven't fought for a fucking year because of surgery, then visa, then corona. It's just, and this sport, you've only got a certain amount of time.
Yeah. Question here. We got another question here off Owain Davis as well. Owain's another up and coming Welsh fighter who's fights out of our academy and Neil's academy over in CTC up in the Rhondda. What's your regular day-to-day training schedule like during fight camp?
During fight camp, normally I'll get up. I'll do like an early morning. If I'm over here in England, I'll do like an early morning cardio. and like maybe some weights, etc. Just like a basic kind of general strength and conditioning. And then I'll generally do some pads at about 10ish. And then maybe some grappling in the afternoon, and then when I'm here, it's just I don't know. It's like what I feel, not what I feel like on that day, but I just piece it all together. How not every day is the same, basically, but a lot. I'll get my pad work in, I'll get my grappling in, I'll get my sparring in, but it's a little bit sporadic in terms of what I'm doing. But I'm doing about 3 sessions on average a day. That's what like in terms of. If you want to say what number of sessions you're doing, you do about 3 sessions a day, yeah.
And that's probably the good thing about going out to Team Alpha Male as well, because you're kind of told what to do, really, in a sense.
I don't have to think about it, I don't have to think, oh, right, I'm doing my pads this day, I'm doing this, that with him, then I'm going to go sparring down there, then I'm going to go... You don't have to think, you know what I mean? So that's
everything's under one roof and you get it done, I suppose, isn't it?
Exactly, and everyone's at a good level, so it's not like you're wasting your time.
Yeah. Andrew Bridges, thank you very much again, mate. Very intelligent and entertaining video. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. Ryan Williams, what weight do you walk around at, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I walk up. I'm normally around 74, 75, I'd say, would be like a comfortable weight, not having to think about my weight. I could be up as high as at 78, 80. Then I could be as light when I'm right in camp. I could be as light as 70, 71. If I'm like really on it, then I could be down. I could literally almost be at 70. Yeah, 71.
And ask for flyweight, yeah.
Featherweight.
Featherweight.
Feather, fucking hell.
Flyweight.
65.8.
My brother has just asked a question. Would there be something you would do different in your career so far?
Yeah, fight more.
Fight more.
To be fair, obviously we spoke about where Cage Warriors went under with you, and obviously you had to go to Bama and all the route you had to take. And I think I'm really sort of blessed, and anyone who's coming through the same time as me now is so lucky the way it's all come through, because people like obviously you have done it, and you had to slog through the sort of the shitty shows, and obviously you went to Bama, which was good, but then they were hit and miss, and obviously Cage Warriors took that dive and they went out for a little bit. So it was a harder time to get into UFC when you was coming through, and I think that really shows the pedigree of you, that you got in when you did, and you got in the way you did, because you were one of the. Do you know what I mean? Like you were one of the early ones in, so. It just really showed that like the level you were at when you got signed and how much you had to do.
Yeah, no, I mean I took the long route almost, but then I feel like I could have had more fights along the way. But there was just I feel like there was just a lot of just time, like you said, like I fought Enland. And then Cage Warriors went under, and I kind of lost momentum, couldn't get fights. And I was going to fight in July against Ashley Grimshaw, then he pulled out. Then I got another fight come through for Bama. Then I got injured, broke my rib. So then I didn't fight till November, which was like a whole year again since Enland, you know what I mean? And then I fought Petley, and then who did I fight? And then I went to, but it was just the regularity, I think, some of it. It just took longer than. I mean, I was
build
fighting,
momentum.
Yeah, exactly. I was fighting almost 8 years before I got into UFC. So.
That's a long slog,
Yeah.
As well, you recently had some elbow operations as well, haven't you? That's put you back.
Yeah. So I had that back in May last year. I was hoping. The surgeon said I'd be done in 6 to 8 weeks, back to ready to fight, but it took me about 6 months because he didn't do keyhole like I suggested. He did open. And then Ronnie was like, so you went into his office and you told him how to do his job, basically. Said, no, I don't think you're gonna do. I don't think you can do that open. I think you should do keyhole. But I was fucking right.
A question from Jamie Hughes again. Any interest on competing on a Polaris event in the future?
Definitely, yeah, that's something on the horizon. they actually asked me to do a match against Nathaniel Wood, but that was going to be in April. But I wasn't trained at that point because I tore my pec just after.
Fucking hell.
What's that?
I said fucking hell, Nad. You literally scar tissue put on scar tissue.
Oh mate, yeah, it's one of those with me. Like I had this. I was supposed to be fighting Nick Lentz in January, and this happened just before that, and then the visa didn't come through. So then it was just like, well, like fuck, my pet was fucked as well. So it might be a blessing in disguise. But yeah, then I said I'd do that Nathaniel Wood maybe in July after because then I was supposed to be hopefully fighting in May, but then now this fucking Corona, so I don't know when I'm fighting now. But so I said July for Polaris, but then obviously I don't think that's going to happen now either.
Yeah. It's a good crossover though, Polaris, isn't it? Because obviously it's streamed live on UFC Fight Pass. A lot of the UFC guys are coming over to fight as well. You know, I think it's
great. I think it's a great way for jiu-jitsu to be going and for jiu-jitsu athletes to be making some money. What they're doing, you know.
Do you have to ask anyone in UFC before you fight on Polaris? I think that's a good question.
You know what? I haven't actually crossed that bridge yet, but I don't know. I know that Gilbert Burns.
Gilbert Burns competed on Nicky and Luke Rockhold.
I don't think there's a big issue with it. I don't think there is a big issue.
No, I think one of the things.
Brett
Johns. I referee the Polaris as well, and the one thing I interpreted under the UFC fighters coming over because of the UFC Fight Pass streaming, I think is kind of okay with those. Rockhold fought obviously on there.
Uriah fought. He was still on the testing.
Yeah, Uriah as well. Yeah,
Uriah's still contracted with UFC as well. So
yeah,
Uriah's still getting tested as well, isn't he? I think.
Yeah, he's still in the USADA. Yeah.
So something Nad will obviously know this as well. That really tickled me was the day Nad went. Uriah went to hospital for his daughter to be born. USADA turned up and drug tested him while he was in the waiting room.
While he was at hospital.
Yeah, while she was in labour. USADA turned up and drug tested him while he was waiting for obviously his
daughter. Congratulations on the birth of your daughter, mate.
Yeah. Prisoners too.
Prisoners pot. Yeah. I've had him down at the gym. Like, I think he's been the same guy. He's been around like 3 times in the last 3. Well, just before this obviously Corona, he was around 3 times in 3 months.
Fucking hell.
I'm trying to catch you out.
Yeah.
Trying to catch up.
The funny thing is, the guy looks a bit like CID. So he looks like a bit like so he's tested me a while ago, right? And then I turn up at the gym and he's there and he's looking at me and he's getting out his badge and I'm thinking, I had done nothing wrong. What the fuck is this guy? And then he goes, oh, it's your SADA.
You know where he's gonna get knocked? They're cuffed up like.
I've been a good boy for a long time now.
That's exactly it. I thought, you know what? I've been good. You know what I mean?
What do you want?
Okay, I got another question from Owain as well. Again, what's Nad's thoughts? I like this one. What's Nad's thoughts on fighting Fishgold? As I remember, Fishgold calling Nad out when they both fought for Cage Warriors.
I think he actually called me out in the UFC, did he not?
Oh, was it?
I can't. No, actually, no, it was Cage Warriors, I think, wasn't it? I can't remember. Someone said it was like the politest call out that they've heard.
That is nothing.
It's funny because me and Fishgold had come up the circuit almost together. Come up, you know, we were sort of fighting at the same time on the same. So it's funny we've never crossed paths in terms of a fight, but you know, I wouldn't write off in the future. It's one of those.
Like I said, there's nothing polite about Fishgold. I remember refereeing his fight on Polaris, and he tried to fucking punch the guy in a grappling fight. Yeah. I think it's what's the guy's name? McCann. Something.
No, he fought Craig then, didn't he? He fought Craig Ewers, the next Polaris.
Yeah, I can't remember his name now. But he was
Craig Ewers, did he, Chris?
No. The guy who fought Fishgold.
See.
I can't remember his name now. It's gone. But anyway, he basically done like the kind of cupping on Fishgold's mouth and was pushing him away or some shit like that. And Fishgold said that he tried to bite him. So he rain down this big Hail Mary from nowhere and punch the mat. And I'm refereeing a grappling match, and you don't anticipate anything like that punching, do you?
Yeah,
So it's like,
he punched the mat.
yeah, but
Oh, you
mate,
can't really.
actually that far from his nose, like he was gonna punch him, like
Yeah.
Liam Can, thank you, Jamie Hughes. Liam Can, that's it, yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I had to get him up on his feet and calm him down, and he was like, "Fucking hell, trying to bite me," and you're like, "Fucking no, calm down."
Yeah.
I would love to.
Fishy's alright. Do you know what? Fishy's alright, to be fair. He congratulated me after I beat Paddy. He's the only one.
Oh, right.
Yeah, from that gym. But yeah, no, he's alright. He's alright.
He seems like a nice guy, I gotta be honest. I think he's like a genuine fighter, and he's like,
yeah, he is. Yeah.
If he was to kind of depict an MMA fighter, I think that would be it, wouldn't it?
What, like some tattoos, shaved head?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, Nad. What are you trying to say, bud? Do you know what I mean?
That's it. Yeah. I can't really talk.
Okay, this I think we got one more, buddy. I think we got one more question.
Yeah,
we don't want to keep you too long, mate. We know you're in.
Right, that's all good. It's all good. It's been good fun.
Please don't stop me if you sit in that car any a lot longer.
Yeah. I'm on the drive.
Down the break.
I got a sweaty back.
Blue shirt on as well.
Okay, so I think it's my brother again. What's your favorite strike submission to use in a fight? So what's your favorite kind of strikes or submission to use in a fight?
What strikes or submission or both?
Yeah, let's go for what's your favorite submission, because predominantly you're kind of a grappler. I think striking wise, a big overhand right that you landed on Paddy was decent.
I do like overhand right. To be fair, I like slipping inside left uppercut or left like a corkscrew shot. I like that shot as well.
Nice.
Yeah, Mason.
That catches people a lot. I like knees as well. To be fair, when I do get it, I feel like I used to be a lot more aggressive. Now I got a bit more conservative. I want to be able to bring back that aggression a bit more. I
remember you returning, and like you said, you had a bit of a layoff coming into that Bama fight. You just fucking blitzed that guy. It was insane.
Yeah, exactly. I just feel like that's exactly what I want to do in my next fight. Just come in and sort of go through him. But favorite submission, I'd say. It's a hard one, isn't it? You know, I'd probably say my top three is rear naked choke, guillotine, and Kimura.
Which one of them do you usually pull off more, sparring and training wise? Obviously, fights are different, but which one do you normally predominantly pull off?
I get a lot of guillotines. To be fair, I do catch a lot of guillotines.
Nice.
Yeah, probably guillotines more than you catch a rear naked choke. Although I get the back a lot, finishing the rear naked. You know, sometimes it's hard against top level guys. But I get to be honest with you, I get like quite a broad percentage of all the submissions. I quite like the feet as well. I actually attack the feet a lot. Obviously, I was going
to say as well. I think you got a good straight footlock as well, Nad. You always obviously know you grapple with you a lot as well. You've got a really good straight footlock as well.
Yeah. That's one I don't actually use that much anymore. I went for a bit of a phase with the straight footlock. I've been going a lot more heel hooks and knee bars and stuff like that recently. But I was finishing that footlock a lot, but I sort of stopped. I might have to get back on that one, Greg. You know how it goes. You just go through spells, innit? With different.
Yeah, you get fads.
Yeah.
The fads of what you enjoy using, and then you see something else, you're like, that looks fucking cool. I'll do that.
Yeah, I'll do a bit of that. Yeah. Quality.
But, Nad, I'm gonna let you go a bit. Thank you very much.
That was wicked, boys. It was good to see you all. Good to chat to you all, and we'll have to get back training. We're fucking done.
Yeah, as soon as this is all sorted, mate, we'll definitely pop down.
One thing I'd like to ask you before we go is if you could just put a word in with Ronnie Man, that would be awesome for us. We want to get Ronnie on.
You want to get yeah.
And the other one that I've already started talking to Wesley Murch about is James Thompson. We'd love to have James Thompson on. You're breaking down an old Pride fight.
Oh, bloody yeah. Jesus.
Stories. Pride stories.
That'd be one to watch. That'd be entertaining. God knows what you'd be talking about. Fuck me.
That's one thing I love to have is those two guys on. So I'll put them a message and we'll see what's happening. But
I'll hit them up for you, Greg, as well. No problem.
Top man. We got on now on Thursday the 7th at 7 o'clock. We got Lewis Long. Lewis Long's coming on, so that'll be sick.
Nice. He's always a good crack.
Oh, Lewis is always a good crack. I don't know why.
I'm dreading it. I'm dreading to see what he comes out with.
Honest to God, we're gonna have to put like one of those 18 certificates up in the corner somewhere, and
Yeah.
I'll tell my kids.
Chappy, get on that. Chappy, get on it.
What's the other one? Just on Facebook?
No, they're on Facebook. Yeah, they're going to be on our Facebook Live. And the other one we got on Friday the 8th at 7 o'clock. We got Gilbert Burns on, which is a big one for us. We're going to get Gilbert Burns on. So
wicked, nice.
That's going to be sick as well. So Nad, I'll let you go, but thank you very much for that. I appreciate it.
Nice one, lads. Nice one,
Nad.
Stay safe, Nad. Bye.
Yeah, stay safe, boys. See you later on.
Take care, Nad.
Bye.
All right, bye.